Mr. Goat gets all this cat hair on my shirt and then he runs away. Last year we had the loving moment that you see captured in art above my desk. Roger hoisting Rafa up to the heavens as they became best friends forever. This year, Novak Djokovic did the tennis ball version of stabbing Roger in the back. Oh, it's all just fun and games. He didn't stab him in the back. That just goes to show you that some of these guys are very uncomfortable playing doubles.
That's why we don't play doubles. That's why we don't play doubles, bro.
Today on Coffee Break Tennis, we talk about a few takeaways from the Laver Cup. We talk about this news that Roger Federer is considering playing clay next year, 2019, and how many people see this as the sign that it will be Roger's last year on tour. Of course, many people have been speculating for a while now that the next time we see Roger playing clay, it'll be because it's part of his farewell tour. And we read some comments. Welcome to Coffee Break Tennis, the fastest growing tennis show on the internet, especially when we post more frequently. Good news, we are going to post more frequently. I'm going back to the Monday and Thursdays schedule. I'll think about if I'm going to be able to have an actual time, but most likely the time will be just very late at night. Like you see this video pop up very late Monday night, very late Thursday night. Today's episode of Coffee Break Tennis is brought to you by tennisballancestors.com. It's really cool. They send you tennis balls in the mail. You take said tennis ball and take a big bite out of it, which is very tasty. It tastes great. You send it back to my friends at tennisballancestors.com, and they analyze the DNA that you put on the ball when you bite it, and they tell you who you're related to. Mr. Goat, who ran off after getting goat hair all over my shirt, found out he's related to, this is his great-grandfather. Check it out. We got a picture from tennisballancestors.com. Mr. Goat's great-grandfather. And what do you know? Tennisballancestors.com told me that my third cousin is this guy. All right, first up, let me read this comment to you. This is a tweet, actually. You can follow me at CoffeeBreak10s, TENS, like the number 10, on the Twitters. This is from Michael C4, because everything he says is explosive. Get it? C4? Let's be honest, Laver Cup means nothing. No AT points, no ATP points, nothing. Michael, I respectfully disagree. Comment below if you agree with Michael. I'm very curious to hear. It's very likely I'll read your comments on our next video. I want to hear who thinks this means nothing, because if you watch it, the players are having a great time. Last year, I feel like that was in the back of everyone's mind. Is this a glorified super-duper exhibition match, a group exhibition with lots of top names? Or is this something these guys really care about and are competing hard like they're playing in a major? So I feel like last year that was in the back of my mind a lot, and quickly it went away. The more you watch, the more you realize, like, yeah, these guys are competing hard. They're really into it. This year, I feel like no one even thought about it going in because we already saw what happened last year. This year, maybe, no rhythm, even better than last year. Maybe. Just comment below. Do you agree with Michael C4? Or do you agree with me that Laver Cup is the most important tournament that doesn't have points in history? Well, that's an easy one. Let me go a little bolder than that. I would venture to say Laver Cup is just about exciting as the WTF World Tour Finals. You got about 8-10 of the top players in the world out there. You got some cool coaches. There's a funny moment where McEnroe was giving it to the umpire during the Federer-Kyrgios match. Let me see. What are my big takeaways here? Number one, I want to say Laver Cup is a big deal. People are really into it. The players are really into it. Everyone who's part of it feels lucky to be there. Another one of my big takeaways from the Laver Cup, number 2 on my list, Roger Federer is obviously the best indoor tennis court player in the world. Djokovic has been, he's done very well at the World Tour Finals. He's got a lot of indoor wins. Djokovic is one of the best indoor court players, but he didn't really shine. I was kind of hoping we'd get that final match, Kyrgios versus Djokovic, just to give him another chance to show what he can do on an indoor court. By the way, this is a slower indoor court compared to most indoor courts. But the big difference, if you don't understand how the courts work, is indoor, the bounce stays a lot lower, and not having the sun on you, not having any wind, that can make a big difference. And of course, the biggest thing you'll notice, I think, Usually indoor courts are faster than other courts. This one was kind of they're replaying Djokovic Anderson right now. Usually the indoor courts are pretty fast. This was a slower one, but one thing you always see with indoor courts is the bounce is very low. This favors Roger Federer big time. And obviously Roger was very happy not to be in super hot, humid conditions like we saw in Cincinnati or Arthur Ashe Stadium at the U.S. Open. Roger took full advantage of the low bounce, really used the slice especially well against Nick Kyrgios in that match. Straight sets win for Roger Federer. I think you can argue Nick Kyrgios was playing well, so Roger got what he needed. I think the confidence is back, so you can look forward to a very exciting indoor season, especially if you're a Fed fan. I do think Djokovic will get it together, but there's people out there who say, Roger should retire or Roger might retire. If you can play this level still, I don't see any reason to retire. Roger Federer said the same thing in some articles I've read, that basically when he feels like he can't win the best tournaments and can't compete with the best players, there's no reason for him to be out there. Clearly, he can be out there. I know some of you might say John Isner's not the greatest, but Isner was playing a very inspired match at Laver Cup. Check out this match point. Roger Federer saves on Isner's serve in the tiebreak, second set. Isner has match point, hits a 138 mile per hour serve wide to the backhand. Obviously, if he had hit it wide enough, it's an ace against anyone at that speed. But he got it close enough to the body for Roger to make a play on it. Just watch this play. So does that look like a guy that should consider retiring because he's getting old? Final thing on Laver Cup. I loved it. Comment below what you think of it. Of course, I want to know, do you think it's a phony baloney thing? It's just a glorified exhibition match? Or do you think it's actually really cool? Should they add points to it? Is that even a thing? How would you distribute the points? I don't know. I think it's its own thing, and I think it's, as Peter Freeman said in a email he sent out this morning, tennis teaching guru of Crunch Time Coaching, founder of Crunch Time Coaching, founder of My Backhand, right? I tried to copy Federer, but Pete's actually the one who helped me get my backhand looking as good as it does. Peter Freeman said, Laver Cup is pretty much just blowing Davis Cup up. Davis Cup doesn't even matter anymore. What was his exact word? I think Pete's exact words were, Laver Cup is quickly making Davis Cup not a thing. Let's take a look at a couple articles, then we'll read some comments, and we will get out of here. I'm in a hurry. I got to go teach Monchitos, little munchkins, on the tennis court. Got to change out of my nice shirt. Mr. Goat-haired. It's not very nice now. Oh, somebody said, is that real coffee in your cup? If it wasn't real coffee, I heard some comment one time that my cup is empty. If it was empty, would I be able to do this? That's disgusting. Cut that out. Mr. Goat, when you edit this video, cut that part out. It's gross. Oh my God, this is so funny. Take a look. One more thing also. This flashed up on the screen during the broadcast of the Laver Cup. How much time we got? We got about 5 minutes here. Federer, career tiebreak win percentage. Didn't know that Federer was pretty far ahead of everyone. Barely ahead of Arthur Ashe, but pretty far ahead of the rest of the pack there. This was hilarious. And comment on another thing, comment below. Did you see Roger making the connection with Djokovic that he did with Rafa last year at the Laver Cup? I felt like, and going into it, I thought Djokovic is more of a fun guy. Comment below on this for sure. If you had to marry or be roommates with Rafa or Joker, who do you think would be more fun to live with? I would think Joker, but I think Roger had more fun overall with the Rafa. Of course, Mirka made a new friend. So this is from Herr Peter Bodo from the ESPN. Roger Federer considering return to playing clay in 2019. Clay court. Roger said the clay court season is under review. It's not off the table. I will know by the end of the year. I'd like to make up my mind ahead of time so that I can plan my build-up, my fitness schedule. Even the way I would approach my December practice sessions could benefit the clay court season. And Roger wrapped up that quote by saying, if you play the clay, it changes everything. And yeah, Roger's right. You might want to do some different things. It does seem very early, and so if Roger decides in November, when we're at the WGF World Tour Finals, what the fudge, does that mean his little training block he'll do in December, that it's going to be very different because clay is going to be coming several months later? I don't know. I think Roger will take the low-bouncing, fast indoor court experience of the fall and build on that to go into the AO, because I now think If you disagree, comment below. The Australian Open is Roger's best chance to win a major. The bounce is lower there than anyone else. The court is faster there than anywhere else. And he's won it the last 2 years in a row. A three-peat would be nice at 37. So I don't know if it means like he's going to train very specifically different. Maybe he'll work on some stuff that he would have just not even thought about in the off-season training block. I don't know, but I think it definitely it changes everything. Like Roger said, that's true, because just the whole mindset of how you're going to approach the year, which tournaments you're going to play. I would say if Roger's going to play clay, he might play Indian Wells and skip Miami now. Doesn't have to defend anything after the Kokkinakis debacle of earlier this year. But the biggest thing about this that I'm struck by is a lot of people, check out some of the comments, I'll flash them on the screen. A lot of people have said that Roger won't play clay until it's the end, because if he thinks skipping clay gives him the best chance of winning Wimbledon, why would he play clay if he thought he could still win Wimbledon? So if he plays clay, therefore, it must mean he's kind of given up on winning the biggest tournaments, and he's just doing like a farewell tour for everyone, even though Rogers kind of said he doesn't want to do a farewell tour. Well, this was pretty funny. Andy Roddick says Roger should never, ever play on clay again. I'm going to go human shield on this one. They were speaking together to the press in Texas. He should never play on clay again. It's really hard on the body. He shouldn't. Go ahead. Say no now. Yeah, we all think clay is easier on the joints, but clay has longer points. You play more time, more match time, more running around, even though it's a softer court. It's just more wear and tear on the body. Skipping clay is definitely less long-term wear and tear for Roger. I agree there. Oh, speaking of Texas, by the way, Crunch Time Coaching is doing TennisCon Part 2, the world's largest tennis convention. We're going back to Texas to the Legends Ranch where Rod Laver is going to be there. I remember last year being so excited to say to Rod, like, hey, Rod, how was the Laver Cup? Did you like it? That's kind of how it sounded when I asked him that. He's like, yeah, it was good. What do you think he's going to say? Idiot. Anyways, I'm looking forward to seeing Rod Laver again. He will be there. Me and Pete will be there, and there will be a place for you guys to get free tickets. We're going to do, I don't know if we'll do the live broadcast this year because the internet connection wasn't always great, but we will be filming lots of stuff. There's going to be legends there like Rod Laver, John Newcomb, Roy Emerson, a bunch of Aussie greats, and all kinds of tennis players are going to be there, famous tennis players. It's really cool. If you're a tennis player, you'll love it. If you're not a tennis player, you should check it out. There's just so much awesome stuff going on at the ranch this time of year. So that's coming up in October, and pretty soon there'll be a website you guys can check out and get free tickets. It's online. You don't go. It's a free ticket to watch what's happening at the Tennis Fantasy Camp in, I think it's October 20th, somewhere around there. It's a whole week. It's going to be amazing. So last thing before we go, and I'll read some comments too. Federer, this is from The Express, I know, but it's direct quotes, so it's reliable. Federer, it's direct quotes from pundits at the Laver Cup. They'd heard the news about Roger might play clay. Roger Federer retirement. Laver Cup pundits give very exciting update. Roger Federer wants to hold off retiring until after the Tokyo Olympics in 2020. Many of you have commented below in the past, especially with the Uniqlo deal, that Roger wants to make it the 2020 Tokyo Olympics. If you're a big Fed fan like me, that's great news. This is the biggest news in tennis right now, other than some people still talking about the Serena stuff. I'm pretty bored with it. If you want to hear more about it, comment below. But I think I said almost everything you can about it in the last video. So this is one of the commentators. Miss Shet thinks that Roger will play until the games. Roger's won 20 Grand Slams, she says. He still wants to win more. He still wants to stick around for another couple years. A big goal of his is the Olympics in Tokyo. She didn't say where she heard that, but that's floating around out there now. So is that true? I don't know. Comment below if there's a better source out there that I missed. Fellow pundit Todd Woodbridge, who I believe his old doubles partner, Mark Woodford, will be at the TennisCon, at the Tennis Legends Tennis Fantasies Camp in Texas next month. So another great tennis player you'll get to see with us. That's one thing that isn't in his trophy cabinet. How much would he love to have that? For a 39-year-old, Roger would be 39 by the time we get to the Tokyo Olympics. That would be an extraordinary performance. He's one of the best movers the game has ever seen. Not necessarily the fastest. That's because of the way he anticipates. He's always moving towards the next ball. So comment below if you've heard anything more about that. I think the way Roger looks, unless he gets injured, he can make it. He can make it to 2020. A lot of people say he'll finish at his hometown just like he started. I think 1999 in Basel was Roger's first pro tournament. Many people think it will be his last. Speaking of many people, we got lots of great comments on the last one. I'm only going to read a few because we need to get out of here, running out of time. Carol Morris, on the racket smashing frenzy, I would like to remind viewers that there are only 2 tennis champions who never smashed a racket, Martina Navratilova and Rafa Nadal. I got to say, I can't remember seeing either one of them ever smash a racket. I've watched a lot of Rafa's matches, never seen him smashed it. The funny thing was at the U.S. Open, he was so frustrated with his knee, he took a water bottle, threw it at his knee. That was the most violent thing I've ever seen Rafa do on a court, other than hit his forehand. Pretty violent itself. It's very explosive. Comment below if Rafa did smash a racket, and this comment's wrong, but I think Carol's right. Tony Law, great review. Hope all Serena supporters will watch this. That's the last video. I think some Serena supporters watched it, and those were the few thumbs down we got. Mito Becorijo, he needs more sips of coffee. Closer to the mic if possible. Here you go, Mito. This is just for you. Kenya Lee, I agreed with every word you said. The behavior was everything a tennis player should not do during a match. To invoke her daughter while behaving like that was hysterical. Was that the kind of behavior she wishes for her daughter to emulate? Of course, that's about the last video. And finally, my favorite, this is from Twitter, Rory Gill at colonizedmind25. Give him a follow. He tweets some great stuff. At Coffee Break 10s. The curse of Uniqlo is over. We got the Laver Cup. And I hate it. That's why I never talk about the Uniqlo curse, because I don't even want to give it the light of day. I don't want to give it a chance to live. There is no Uniqlo curse. Don't be surprised if Roger Federer wins 21 at the Australian Open in January next year, and be looking forward to a lot more success on the indoor courts. See ya!
Talk to some people, straighten this up, man. Right?